Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Love Island All-Stars Season 2, Episode 13.
Listen here, man. I know it moved your heart when you saw Luca crying, Blair, right?
No.
Wow. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. Let's go.
All right. So Scott is telling Luca that there is no coming back from what he's done. Kaz asked Scott what has been said. He was planning to have a conversation with Tina before Luca aired everything out.
Yeah.
So all the ladies are telling Tina that she needs to go talk to Scott.
Yeah.
Scott tells her that he told the boys that he enjoys spending time with her, but he doesn't know if he's fully where she's at as far as fully being in the relationship.
Yeah.
Tina just says that she is a very lovey person, but she's not head over heels for Scott.
You're a liar.
He is not trying to end their situation, but he's just not where she is. So she just needs to take a step away. She's kind of feeling like her walls are coming up again.
What is your thoughts on these scenes?
My thoughts, Luca was definitely just lashing out.
Yeah.
It was so unnecessary, and it is hurtful for someone to kind of put you on blast in front of everybody with information you didn't know about your couple. So Tina is right to be upset as well, and so is Scott, because Luca, I told you this while I was kind of processing, trying to work out what I wanted to say, if I should even say anything, and you took my confidence and ran with it. I feel like Scott, if he was going to have the conversation with Tina beforehand, he should have, but I really felt like he was trying to kind of just talk through his feelings. I think he was just trying to figure out where he was at, to be honest.
I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I'm going to be honest. Sometimes when a girl likes you too much, it can turn you off.
Okay.
Just a little too much. Tina already, she talking about how she's not head over heels for Scott. Yes, you were. That is what that whole meeting of like the 3 dates were. Basically like, oh, we get a second chance and things of that nature. So I think with Scott, I think what happened was he was happy to see someone of old, and then he realized that, oh, this is boring, this is bland, Chris is right, right? So that's when, because like seeing them together, it's like if the conversations was that interesting, we would see more of it, but we don't. Right. So I think she thinks that, hey, I found my guy. I'm not really in it for the game. I'm in it for the guy. Right. And I think Scott, I'm not saying that he's in it for the game, but I don't think that he is so sure and so confident in week 2 of like I'm not sure about the girl either. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like Scott has every right to feel that way. Now, when it comes to telling the guys first, listen here, sometimes we brainstorm with the guys, right? Sometimes when it comes to guy talk and things like that, it's very unorthodox. It can be sometimes disrespectful. You get what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it is not up to Luca to basically to disclose what was said in the group, you know?
Yeah. So Tina fills Harriet, Ekin, and Gabby in on what Scott said. Harriet says that he should have spoken to Tina before the guys and before the game. Scott tells everyone else that he spoke to the boys, that he was going to pull her just to tell her like where he was at.
Yeah.
But with Luca, he doesn't recognize this guy right here.
Yeah.
Luca says that, you know, if he wants to say something, he just comes right out and says it. And Ronnie says that, but Scott really doesn't trust people like that, and he did trust me, you, and Casey to really like kind of brainstorm his thought process, and you kind of went against boy code. And Luca tells them boy code goes out the window once you step up to me and approach me the way you do.
What?
And Casey says, but not Casey, Curtis says, but you could have held back just a little bit. And Luca agrees that he should have held back because it did end up hurting Tina in the process, and now he feels bad. Ronnie ends up going to Tina and tells her, look, the guys were telling him not to say anything because it's not like he really knew how he felt in the moment.
Yeah.
And, he just didn't know what he wanted to do yet.
And that's why, like, when it come to guys, that's why when it come to bro code and basically a guy group, I'm always skeptical about, the woman that wants to hang around the guys. You know what I mean? Because for one, you just won't understand the language, right? You won't understand the lingo. And when you walk away, we go talk about you behind your back too, right? So when it comes to this, I can see 100% from Scott's point of view. Hey, at first with India, I was 100% honest, and it blew up in my face. Right? I was called on a date. I did not choose to go on a date with this girl, Tina. Right? Oh, some feelings came up from some familiarity this feels kind of more easier. Besides actually building something from the bottom with India, I could kind of like insert where we left off with Tina, right? So let me be honest with India. Oh, that blows up. She's mad at me now. Okay, I'm going to approach this a little differently. Because last time I went straight to the source and I told India how I felt. I'm not going to do this with Tina. Guys, what should I do? That is basically what he is saying, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, Luca inserted himself in the process and made it sound worse than what it really was. Where really, Scott is really just trying to handle it differently than the last time he did when it blew up in his face.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
So Grace tells Luca that he stepped out of line, and he says,
Don't cry.
Says,
I'm about to say.
She says that you were pissed off because he kissed me. He tells her it's not really just about that. But Grace would not air her girl's dirty laundry, and to her, it shows a different side of Luca that she hasn't seen before. So, Luca, I think you turning your girl off a little bit.
You done gave her the ick.
Ronnie ends up taking Harriet to the secret garden. Elma says, F me then. Elma, please.
Elma, please. We don't want to hear talk to Nas. He ain't talking to nobody.
Exactly.
You know?
So Ronnie brought her stuffed animal Flops with him, and they end up kissing each other. Harriet says that he does a lot of talk and not much action behind it, and he wants to prove to her that he can change that.
Okay.
He has always loved her, and he wants to do things the right way. Harriet tells him that it's going to take some time before she jumps back in. She feels that she has seen a change in him, but it's just a start. And they kiss.
I thought I had to earn that kiss. I love it when in a relationship, early in a relationship, or just no point, or at any point of the relationship rather, where the woman be like, you know what, I'm not doing this until you do this, and the whole time they end up doing it.
Okay.
Harriet, where was your boundaries? Where was your willpower? He done kiss you and the stuffed animal for all we care. He kissing your knee, and now. Here's the thing. I would be lying to say that, hey, have some respect for Elma, because I really don't care about Elma, and I honestly don't care about Ron either, right? But at the same time, Harriet, I need to know these boundaries and this new Ronnie that you expect to see, because truth be told, it kind of looked like the same Turbo. Yeah. You know, it still looked like the same. I'm very interested in you in the beginning. Maybe it just feels easy because we was in the last villa together. But Harriet, I wasn't expecting your walls to fall down that fast, at least the next episode, you know?
Yeah. So Kaz and Montel, he's trying to find out if she's soft or not. She says that she's soft with the right person, and they end up having their first kisses.
Do you see any chemistry with them?
I do. I think that they're physically attracted to each other, but Kaz was doing all that talking about how Ron wasn't flirting enough and all this type of stuff. Montel don't be that flirtatious either. I guess she just likes him.
And when it comes down to it, when you just look better than the other guy, you ain't got to do what the other guy got to do.
Right.
Just show up, you know?
So Scott and Casey talk. Scott is trying to find out if he did too much. And Casey thought that it really was just banter. Scott doesn't get why Luca went for the jugular, though. They do have love for each other, and, you know, he feels like, you know, pretty much Luca can give banter, but he can't take it. And he does try to hold back on the banter with Luca because he knows, like, I'm the big bro. I know he can't really take it, so I'm not going to go in on him, you know, the way I would with somebody who's, like, my equal. But he does feel like the trust with Luca is gone, but right now he's pretty focused on Tina.
Okay, you have any thoughts on that?
I appreciated Scott checking in with a friend and just saying, was I tripping? Did I do too much? Because I don't think people are introspective enough to realize their role in a disagreement. Yeah. So I appreciate that Scott, even if he didn't feel like he was in the wrong, he tried to see if from somebody else's perspective, if there's something that he could have done better, or maybe he needs to apologize to Luca about. And the fact that Casey was just like, pretty much he was being sensitive. You know, that pretty much was what it was. And that's something that I do like about Scott, because Luca, as soon as they were done with the argument, he was talking about, oh, well, you know, bro code goes out the window and I don't care and I stand on what I said. And it wasn't until Curtis said, but, you know, Tina, and he was just like, oh yeah, dang, I was thinking about Tina. Yeah. So
or Grace.
Right.
You know.
So Scott ends up grabbing Tina. He apologizes to her for everything getting blown out of proportion. He tells her that if he were to leave today, he would still want to get to know her more, but he was just in his head and overthinking things. Tina is pissed that Luca did what he did, but Ronnie told her something was missing, and it was just like dagger after dagger. Yeah. Scott just doesn't know if she is the one, and Tina says that she can move on. Like, she's a big girl. Like, it doesn't have to be a huge thing. But Scott doesn't want her to move on. He just wants to be transparent every step of the way. They end up hugging it out, but naturally her guard is back up.
Yeah, don't leave yet. You're my ticket on the island. They say if you by yourself, they vote you out. Listen here, man. Tina, it's over. Actually, it never started for me, right? Y'all are boring. As in, like, she felt like she found her man. She finally got her man. And this is something totally different to where Scott's like, oh, yeah, you're nice. But, like, being with you, I don't know. I don't feel it. Maybe this is not for Scott. Maybe Love Island is not for Scott. Maybe he's too old. Maybe he may be too mature for the show.
I think so.
Because at the end of the day, you can't hold someone hostage while you figure things out. We only here for a month. You get what I'm saying? So, and every week it gets closer and closer and closer to the end. So I think, hey, the fact that you and Tina started off not from the beginning, that y'all actually just basically took it off a pause and press play, and you still don't feel anything, let it go. Talk to my girl Catherine. You get what I'm saying? Like, hey, you're likable. Catherine likable. I think y'all be a beautiful couple. You get?
So Harriet and Ronnie are hugged up, and they tell everyone that they did kiss in the secret garden.
Okay.
Elma pulls Kaz.
Okay.
And Elma feels like if he would have just told me, like, at the beginning that he loved her, like, what else was I going to say? Like, I would have accepted that.
No, you wouldn't have.
But she says that it wouldn't have come out if they didn't play the game to where he revealed that he said that he loved her. But Elma says that at this point, she is accepting that Ronnie is not her person.
Yeah, he told you that.
Yeah.
Like
it's been over.
Yeah, it's been over. Ever since you said I love you and he said haha, it's been over since then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Harriet tells the girls that she has love for Ronnie, but she's not really in love with him.
Do you feel like there's a difference?
He is in love with her.
Do you feel like there's a difference with that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't love me at all then.
Okay.
No, I'm serious. like in love, have love is love. No, just say you like me, right? Don't tell me you love. Don't tell me you have love for me, but I'm not in love with you. And I don't need the semantics with the side of lies, right? Do you love me or not?
Yeah.
I love you. Okay, cool. Right? You over here kissing me in the secret garden. You over here making me kiss the stuffed animal and things of that nature. I know you feeling something. So I felt like even though this may have been the truth, Harriet, you don't owe these people an explanation of the semantics of I love Ronnie, but I'm not in love with Ronnie. It's like, no, let's just keep it close to the vest. You know?
So it's bedtime, and during bedtime, Grace is telling Luca, you wind Scott up all the time, and you need to stop doing that.
Wait a minute, you just got here. You just got here.
That's one thing I like about Grace. She's not afraid to call people on their stuff.
Yeah, but I don't know. Grace, it's cool you said that, but it kind of gave off like, hey, are you my woman? Are you my couple? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like I just got done crying. You get what I'm saying? Or at least feeling like I'm about to cry. Hey, support me in this. Don't tell me what not to do. Just tell me it's gonna be okay.
Somebody need to tell him he's wrong. So I'm fine with Grace being
okay. Well, obviously you have a tough love for Luca.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So
it's the next day. Some of the girls are chatting. Tina didn't like how everything came out in front of everyone. She is annoyed with Luca. She wants to be there for Scott, but she's hurt at the same time.
Yeah.
She really doesn't know what's real and what's not at this point. Luca knows that he needs to apologize to Tina, but he's not worried about Scott right now. Harriet said that she was in the bed with Ronnie, but he asked her if she had been with anyone else. She tells the girls that she said no, but when we actually saw it, she told him yes. And then she's like, I'm kidding, no. But he had already stormed off. So Harriet says that Ronnie was with people when they were together, so she really doesn't get why he's acting up the way that he is.
What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I feel like Ronnie's just toxic. I mean,
it's Turbo.
I'm like, he was cheating on her. He was on the TV show. She didn't even know he was going to be on the TV show. She just saw him on TV kissing women. So I'm just like, I can understand why he would be a little bit possessive, but it's just kind of like, get over yourself.
Well, let's do technicalities. I did not cheat on you because I don't know if we was together.
Okay.
Right? We was talking. Yes, we was together as in the same way as, two people in a room. But let's just give Toxic Turbo a little bail to get out of jail, right? I think, Harriet, if you're really serious, because now I got to hold Harriet to her own words. If you're really serious about getting to know other people, right, I wouldn't see you sitting on his lap. I wouldn't see you over here giggling with the stuffed animal, kissing him and things of that nature. Before bedtime, before Ronnie got to get back into bed with his person he's coupled up with, I wouldn't see y'all in the bed. It's like, it's giving more talk than action. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? I'm not going to fall for the same Ronnie as I have in the past, but yet you're doing the same things that go get you basically caught up, in my opinion.
Yeah, she's looking like she's already with him.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, Ronnie's been Ronnie. Harriet, you said you're coming in with a fresh head, so now I got to judge you by your action and words.
Yep. So Harriet and Ronnie talk. Mm-hmm. Ronnie doesn't want it to be a big thing. Just, yes, no, when it comes to whoever, if you were messing with somebody, and we'll just move on from that.
Yeah.
Harriet felt like he was acting entitled, and she didn't like that. And Ronnie tells her, like, I look at you like you're mine. And Harriet tells him, but I'm not. You were doing things when we were together. Ronnie just wants them to communicate better this time around and just have a fresh start. Any thoughts?
I'm like, but you're acting like you're mine, though.
Yeah.
Like you telling me that I'm not yours while you're acting like you're mine. It's like, it's just words. And this is how things get complicated and things get blurred, because you're not standing on your own square, So
Luca and Tina talk. Luca says that his intention was not to hurt her, and he does regret that. Mm-hmm. Tina knows that she was caught in the crossfire, and she was blindsided. She thought that, everything was good in her situation. Now her walls are up. So they finish their conversation on a good note. Mm-hmm. Scott goes to grab Luca, and Scott takes the position as being the bigger person. He apologizes to Luca for winding him up. He does feel like he is his big brother in here, and he's sad more than anything else. And Scott tells Luca that he does love him. So Luca starts crying.
Yes.
Scott knows that, I know it was banter that just got taken too far.
Yes.
Luca didn't want it to go as far as it went either, but he does look up to Scott. And Scott says, we're not going to ruin our brotherhood. We're not going to ruin this experience. We're good.
Now, Blair, I know that had to soften your tough heart on Luca.
No, it actually made me like Scott a lot more.
Wow.
And I was just like, wow, Scott, like, you really are the bigger person to this child. Like, that's really how you parent somebody. That's like gentle parenting.
No, it's not. So it's brotherhood.
So I was like, what a great father Scott is going to be.
Oh, my God.
But no, I really just did like the grace that Scott showed Luca, because he did not deserve it. And so to me, that speaks to Scott's character more than anything. So your thoughts?
I thought it was touching.
Oh, nice.
Of a brotherhood, not parenthood. You know what I'm saying? Not in the sense of a father parenting his son, but as a brother coming to a brother from another mother saying, you know what, you're still my bro. And guess what, man? It's all behind us. Scott, listen, how can you look highly? How can you think highly? How can you think any more highly of Scott? Scott haven't done anything on the island to make us think any low of him. How come you just can't give Luca just a little bit of, like, you know what, Luca, it's going to be okay?
Because Luca was scared to talk to Scott because he knew he was in the wrong, but he want to go around and tell everybody, I'm not worried about Scott. But you can't approach him and take responsibility for your basically spazzing out?
Can you at least give him credit for at least apologizing to Tina? Luca?
No.
Wow. Let's keep going.
So it's nighttime. Scott feels less pressure with Tina having pulled back. Ronnie thinks that he is winning Harriet over. And Luca is feeling closer to Grace.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
So Scott and Tina talk. He tells her that he has been pulling back and he feels like things are a little bit calmer now, when they're like this. And she's like, what, when my walls are up, when I'm not around you? Tina wants to be with someone who wants to continue to get to know her. He does want to continue to get to know her, but it just feels like the pressure is off because they're no longer like one of the strongest couples. Now he can really get to know her at his pace. Tina tells him that she is naturally affectionate, and he says that he does miss some of her affectionate ways.
Yeah.
But it's going to take her a while to get back to that place, because now he needs to prove that he actually likes her before she just kind of showers him with all that love and affection.
I actually view Scott a little differently after this type of conversation, because now he's like, oh, I feel good now. The girl gone. Now Scott seemed like the type of person to where he would kind of like withdraw without actually breaking off the relationship, and basically you're going to end the relationship but not him.
I don't know, because I'm taking for what Scott's saying at face value. I think that things were just moving a little too fast. I think that Tina's flame was a little too high.
It was high.
And she was very excited and she was all over him. And I think that he just needed some time to slow down and get to know her. I will say on Love Island, they get physical very quickly.
Yeah.
And for Scott to be like 36 years old, I can imagine he might want to be like, can I like talk to you before all of this? Like, I kind of don't really know you like that for real.
But he knows Tina.
Not in that sense. Like, they had they didn't know each other very well. He chose someone else over her, so he really didn't get to know her in the villa the last time.
And guess what? He's still not choosing her.
Well, I'm just saying that I think that that's why he's feeling more comfortable, because she's not all over him like they're already boyfriend and girlfriend. So.
And now he's like, whoo, and
Yeah.
she's like, well, now that you feel better, now that I'm like my walls is up and I'm not on you, and basically like, you know, because he basically makes it seem like we had the pressure of being the strongest couple, and I'm just like, just be yourself, right? But I think Scott is just the type to where one of the worst times to break up with someone, I would say, in my opinion, is when you know it don't feel right, but your partner haven't done anything wrong. You're just in a relationship, you love her or like you love him, right? But you're just like, I just don't see a future for us. But she's affectionate towards me. She's nice towards me. Like what's eventually you start looking at yourself like, what's wrong with me that I don't like this person? And it's just like, I just can't be with this person. Scott gives me that.
That could possibly it, but I also think that this show is very fast paced, and I think he's just more mature than the show at this point.
Okay.
So Gabby and Casey talk.
Okay.
She's trying not to be shy around him. She gets nervous around him. But she thinks she's shy because they haven't had sex yet. But once you're intimate, then you kind of know each other better. You're more comfortable with each other.
Say less.
So I guess we'll keep our eyes out for bedtime if anything gets popping. So Ronnie goes over to Curtis and Ekin, and he's wanting to tell them just kind of where he's at with Harriet. But Ekin, you know, with her big spoon, she brings it out, ready to stir the pot.
Yep.
And she tells him that Harriet said that she wasn't in love with you, Ronnie.
Wait a minute.
And Ronnie says that's probably just her protecting herself, but she said I love you before. Like, she does love me. Ekin says that she wants to explore things with other men. If it works, that's great, but don't get your hopes up too much.
Okay.
Ronnie then goes to grab Harriet, and he tells her what Ekin said. Ronnie said that, just so you know, you're not going to be over here getting to know other guys in front of me.
Wait a minute. Buy the cow. At least buy the cow.
Harriet ends up going over to Ekin and asking, you know, when did she say that she wasn't in love with him? And Ekin brought up when she said it, basically, you said that you have a different type of love for him. And Harriet ends up saying, oh yeah, I did say that. Okay, why are we next to Ekin? But Ronnie tells her, you could have just said it to me. But Harriet feels like Ronnie worded it differently to her. So she's trying to find somebody to blame pretty much for what she said. Harriet says, I love you, but why would I be in love with someone who hurt me? Ronnie said that he's not going to sit around and watch her crack on with somebody else. Harriet says that he talked to multiple women in the villa previously, and she owes it to herself to try. And Ronnie tells her the situation was different. I just met you back then. Where we are now is not the same as where we were back then. There's no comparison. Harriet ends up telling Ekin, because Ronnie storms off, that she is going to compare the different times in the villa because she doesn't want to do the same thing that she did before.
Okay.
So my only thoughts about this is, Harriet, stand on what you said. I don't know why Harriet wants to be the victim in this situation.
I don't know what's
and is trying to run to Ekin and tell Ronnie that he misquoted Ekin and all this different type of stuff. And then she goes to say, like, why would I be in love with someone who hurt me? Just tell him that you're not in love with him anymore. Like, what are we doing? Like, I feel like Harriet is trying to be this way on purpose because she doesn't want to admit her true feelings. I think that she wants Ronnie to want her. And if she rejects him in any type of way, she's afraid of actually losing him. So Harriet, if you want to crack on with other guys and have your own experience in the villa, because you guys technically are not together.
Y'all not together.
Then you can do what you want to do, but she doesn't want to really. She wants to be with Ronnie, from what I can tell.
Was that the end of all the scenes?
Yes.
Yeah, here's my thing. Let me go at Turbo for a little bit. Turbo, like, you can't keep telling her, hey, do you think I'm going to let you, I'm paraphrasing, do you think I'm just going to let you comfortably learn, be with other guys? Like I'm not just gonna sit back and watch that. Like, I like you and I want to be with you, so I'm going to sabotage it. Just like when she picked Ron and then immediately he beelined towards her and said, I want to be with you, right? So already I'm like, that seems a little bit controlling in some factors. I understand some people may view that as romantic, telling someone how you really feels, but it just, the timing just seems very suspicious to me. Like whenever she's moving on or want to try something else, then all of a sudden you want to open your heart and basically pour it out. Suspicious to me. Harriet, right? This what happen when you talk too much. You get what I'm saying? And this is also goes back to my whole point of, do you love me or not? Don't tell me you have love for me, right? Because the same way as I could take offense if Blair was to say, or if somebody was to say, I got love for you, Chris, but I don't love you. I'm like, what that even mean, right? The truth of the matter is, do you love Ronnie or not? And truth be told, I don't think she loved Ronnie, right? I think, here's the thing. If she's going around, I'm going to give her a caveat. If she's going around saying that she loves Ronnie, or rather have love for Ronnie, while saying she still want to get to know other people, I would say she don't know him, right? Maybe she's probably hiding her feelings. Maybe she's protecting herself to where she's not all the way in. Then I would say, if you're doing that, then don't sit on his lap. Don't be kissing him. Don't be flirting. Don't Ronnie him the way he Ronnied you, right? Now to Ronnie's point, which Ronnie do have a great point. In last season, or in last season of Love Island UK, we just met. So we did not have nothing to build on. Everything that I felt about you was new. So there was a lot of mishaps in that, right? I understand that after the show, maybe some things happened, with the whole roses in front of the door and things of that nature. And he's like, don't hold the villa for what we did in the past against us because we just met. Now we can actually like these are real feelings because I actually know you now. My thing is, Harriet, what are you going to do? At the end of the day, do not say that, hey, I have love for Ronnie, while at the same time flirting with him, while at the same time saying, I'm going to get to know other men. No. You don't love him. Let him go. And when I say don't love him, I'm not saying you don't like him. I'm just saying, like, let him go. Don't play the middle. You get what I'm saying? Don't hedge your bets with Ronnie. Mm-hmm. If you want to get a new experience, have a new experience. Leave Ronnie alone. But I think I'm leaning more towards your side, Blair, where it's like she's lying about her feelings. Mm-hmm. Because she says one thing and literally do something else. Yeah. And stop telling Ekin Sue things that's on your mind. She is going, the minute that Ronnie stormed off and things of that nature, you know who came running over? Mm-hmm. Ekin. Mm-hmm. And Catherine. Shout out to Catherine. Mm-hmm. I have no problem with Catherine running over there. But Ekin, stop telling Ekin the moves.
And that's all.
That's it. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. What do y'all think about this whole love? It's not even a love triangle. It's just two people who are just playing hard to get with each other. I don't know what to call it. Shout out to Luca, man. Make sure y'all send some love to Luca. He had a hard episode this episode. He was crying and things like that. He ain't getting no support from Blair. You get what I'm saying? And he's the only one that's entertaining this season so
Daddy
far.
Scott has his back. That's all he needs.
Luca is carrying this season. And I'll say, guess what? Thank you, Luca. Anything else?
I'm done.
Y'all be good.
Bye.